Yes, it's that time of the off season. We all miss football. People are saying some crazy stuff. So, today, I'm having a look at why I think the Detroit Lions could win the Super Bowl this year. Hear me out. I'm not saying they will, I'm saying they could. Watch till the end before leaving your angry comment, because I put a bit of thought into this. Let's get into it. The Lions' offense was excellent last year, ranking among the top in the league. However, I think it can be even better this time around. Detroit had plenty of guys to work with in 2022, but there were a ton of injuries to running backs, the offensive line, and wide receivers. To review this year's offense, the offensive line is still top 3, the running backs are even better, and although the wide receivers may be worse with the loss of DJ Chark, the tight end room got an upgrade with Sam LaPorta, plus Jahmyr Gibbs will pick up plenty of slack in the passing game. There's a ton of talent, and if the team can avoid half the injuries of last year, expect to see Detroit light up the scoreboard again, maybe even more. Look for Amon-Ra St. to have another Pro Bowl caliber season and for Jared Goff to cement himself as a top quarterback in the league. I know there's still a ton of Goff doubters, but think about it. He has an elite offensive line to keep him safe, he has good weapons, he has a top-notch run game to lean on, he is one of the best offensive coordinators in the league, and he just finished off a season where he was top 10 in the major categories. Why can't he continue his upward trajectory? That level of quarterback play can definitely win you a Super Bowl with the right team. We'll talk defensive additions in a second, but first I want to mention the improvement we saw from the defense during the last half of 2022. Defensive backs coach Aubrey Pleasant was fired after the team's 1-6 start, and reports were that he was not sticking to Dan Campbell's game plan. After he was fired, the Lions' defense was actually pretty solid. In 5 of their last 8 games, they allowed less than 20 points to their opponents. They had some extremely impressive showings during their last half of the season, including allowing only 9 points to the Packers, 14 points to the Jaguars, and 10 points to the Bears. The defense was actually a decent unit once it sorted itself out, and that was before any of the talent that the Lions added this offseason. Now factor in the additions of Cameron Sutton, one of the best cover corners in the league, Emmanuel Mosley, who's excellent when healthy, and CJ Gardner-Johnson, who tied for the league lead in interceptions despite missing a few games. Also consider the additions of linebacker Jack Campbell and safety Brian Branch, plus the potential second-year leap for guys like Aidan Hutchinson, Malcolm Rodriguez, and Kirby Joseph. The defense is actually in great shape for 2023. The secondary is all patched up, their linebacking core is looking good, they have some great young talent on the defensive line. What's not to like? I'd absolutely pick the Lions defense to be a top half of the league unit this season. That side of the ball held Detroit back often last season, but I don't know if that's going to be much of an issue anymore. So we've established the roster strength, let's talk competition. So to win the Super Bowl, you have to reach the Super Bowl first. That means beating every NFC team in your path en route to the big game. Thankfully, the NFC, unlike the AFC, is not a slaughterhouse of elite quarterbacks and scary teams, and that makes the path to the Super Bowl a lot easier for Detroit. As I see it, your NFC threats are the Eagles, the Niners, the Cowboys, and potentially the Seahawks. Detroit will have to go through some of these teams if they want to make it to the Super Bowl. Let's break down each team quickly. The Eagles will still be good with Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith, but they lost a massive amount of talent, especially on defense. I can definitely see Philly taking a step back, but they'll still be a tough out in the playoffs because of their loaded offense. The Niners also lost quite a bit of talent, but they did add some good players as well, and if their quarterbacks can stay healthy and play at a consistent level, I think they'll be good again. If Detroit was to meet San Francisco in the playoffs, I think it could go either way. The Niners' strength is their defensive line, but given that the Lions' strength is their offensive line, I think neither would have a big advantage there. I'm not sure how much I trust any of the quarterbacks in the red and gold, but given the amount of talent present on the team, it would be a tough test, but a test the Lions could definitely win if they play their cards right against Kyle Shanahan. The Cowboys would be another tricky game. They have a ton of talent on both sides of the ball, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them win a lot of games this season. Dallas is not known for performing in the playoffs, though, so that should factor into things. Another game that Detroit could steal, but it might be an uphill battle. Seattle is probably the easiest game here, but I'd still be careful. I don't trust Geno Smith to continue playing well in 2023, but the Seahawks have built up a sneaky amount of talent on their roster. Cornerbacks are looking great with the addition of Devin Witherspoon to Tariq Woolen. They signed Draymond Jones to fill out the defensive line. They brought back Bobby Wagner and drafted Jackson Smith and Jigba and Zach Charbonnet. There's a lot of really good players there. A game that could definitely go either way, but everything will depend on whether Geno regresses or not. I think the Lions have a solid chance to win against any of the top NFC teams, but they'll all be tough games. However, when you compare that to the AFC, the Lions' road looks like a cakewalk. The other conference has the Chiefs, Bengals, Bills, Ravens, Dolphins, Jaguars, and even potentially teams like the Browns or the Chargers. I'm not sure how I'd feel about Detroit's chances against an AFC playoff schedule, but in the NFC, they have a solid chance. The conference that the Lions play in is very helpful. It does them a lot of favors with scheduling. So now that we've established that Detroit could potentially have a path to the Super Bowl, let's talk about the game itself. The NFL is chaos. That's just the way it is. There's so much parity in the league, a bottom feeder could beat a Super Bowl contender on any given week. If Detroit was to make the big game, regardless of who they play, Detroit has a chance. If it's versus Mahomes and the Chiefs, okay, gonna be tough, but a winnable game. If it's against Burrow and the Bengals, okay, same deal, so on and so forth. No matter who they match up against, the Lions have a chance to win, partially because they have a ton of talent, but also partially because every player in the NFL is so good any team essentially has a chance against any team. And once you make it to the Super Bowl, you only have to win once. That's it. When they're upsets, you'll hear stuff like, oh, if they played that game 10 times, the other team would have won it 9 out of 10 times. That doesn't matter. It only takes one good performance to hoist the Lombardi. I know the Lions are historically what you'd call a lucky team, but hey, these are brand new Lions. You never know. Let's talk some conclusions. Just to make it clear, the Lions are not my pick for Super Bowl favorites this year. I am a big Lions fan, but I'm not that delusional. All I'm saying is that while the chance may not be large, the Lions winning the Super Bowl this year is within the realm of possibility. Again, I don't necessarily think they'll win it all. Crazier stuff has happened in this league, though. If you're still watching the video at this point, I really appreciate it. Leave a lion emoji in the comments or something to let me know you made it this far. That being said, I think that's going to do it for today's video. It's just a big thought exercise and one that I might catch some flack for, but hey, it's just a game. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, no matter what team you root for, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.